Hello, kia ora, g'day, I'm Philip Duncan from Weather Watch TV on YouTube with your Australia-only forecast through until Sunday, but also a sneak peek at Christmas Day's weather map. We've got an updated map for you. So let's get into the forecast, see what's going on. Here we are, Monday PM. This temperature and wind map is called the Misery Index. Often used for livestock. The areas that you see in red, 30 degrees and above. The areas you see in blue, 0 and below. And yes, that is blue around the South Island. There's a cold southerly change coming into New Zealand at the moment. So the black shaded areas, that's just kind of temperate weather that we don't normally notice too much as far as temperatures are concerned. So these yellow shaded areas, that is 40 degrees and above. Usually over 40 degrees, that's considered excessive heat, especially once you go above 40, and it comes down into areas that are usually a bit more temperate. So here we are around places like Victoria and going into New South Wales, seeing that very hot weather pushing through as we go through Monday. And obviously that will push out into coastal zones, seeing parts of Tasmania going up to 30 degrees as well. But the breeze off the sea helps to keep some eastern areas slightly cooler. So if you're in Brisbane, it may still be warm, but not necessarily as hot as it could be, although I know the humidity is up around there at the moment. So here's how we look on Tuesday. You can see that red line. That measures air thickness. So when you see that red line dropping southwards, it basically means that the air mass that's normally up here in the tropics is dropping down. It loses its moisture over the desert, but it's still hot. So hot weather pushing out to Western Australia along with a bit of a windy easterly. And then you've got that hot weather pushing out across New South Wales, places like Sydney getting it, the ACT, Canberra. And like I say, because of that coastal breeze pushing it around Brisbane, you'll still feel the warmth, but maybe not quite as much as you could have done had that red line been right over the top of you. Bit of a breeze coming through thanks to high pressure out over the Tasman. So there's not much happening around Lord Howe Island or Norfolk Island, just a couple of showers. Most of the showers through this line here from Western Australia all the way down to the southeastern corner. Not a massive amount of wet weather. You'll see some heavier falls around the west coast, around Tasmania, but most of the heaviest showers will be around coastal parts of Queensland, and that's part of the reason why not quite as hot for some of you too, with the thick cloud cover around. By Wednesday, the red line is moving back northwards, so temperatures do drop a little bit now, a bit more refreshing for some of you in the southern or southeastern corner, but it's still pretty hot once you go inland and still very hot around Queensland. The rest of Australia is still under that very hot weather. So it's drier for many places, still seeing those downpours and isolated showers around the Pilbara and Kimberley, and a couple of showers around the top end. Not very much. Northern Territory is actually quite dry. And this is a windy map here. All these lines that join up, all the isobars, it is windy from New South Wales to Victoria, parts of South Australia, parts of Northern Territory, and also the southwest corner of Western Australia. Windy weather in those areas coming from the east, pushing this way, although in some areas it goes up and down here, a bit of a northerly maybe around Esperance. That's why it's hot there. On Thursday around Esperance, a southerly change comes through, so the red line scoots a little bit further northwards. Do see a line of showers from Western Australia. It doesn't look like much. Most of them are up around the Kimberley, over towards the top end. That's where you're seeing some thunderstorms in there. And thunderstorms again along the eastern, more coastal sides of Queensland, but further inland is certainly possible west of Brisbane, and then most of New South Wales and the southern areas are dry. Also cooler here with a southerly coming through, or at least a southerly airflow coming out from the Southern Ocean thanks to this low in the southern Tasman Sea. And that moves up into the Tasman Sea on Friday, only brings a couple of showers to Lord Howe Island. Norfolk stays dry, and most of Australia is dry, but we do see those showers and thunderstorms around Queensland, central northern areas getting those heavier falls, maybe some severe thunderstorms in there, and windy weather carries on from Western Victoria across South Australia, Adelaide and caught up in that, and windy weather pushing out as well across Western coastal Australia. So you're going to be feeling the heat and the windy weather as well on Friday. So the weekend looks like this. We've got a few showers around Queensland and the top end, dry for most other places, and a few more coastal showers around South Australia for the most part, maybe coming into Victoria and isolated ones around Tasmania. Sorry that the sign's over the top of you. There's not much happening there under that key. It is mostly dry. Windy still though, from the ACT into Victoria. Could be windy around the mountains and windy still around parts of Adelaide, and that easterly flow is still very much pushing out into Western Australia, and it does that right through until Sunday as well. The interesting thing on Sunday is it gets windier in this southeastern corner, there's a trough that's kind of like low pressure that's trying to form here around the ACT and coastal parts of New South Wales. The heat is coming back down again on Sunday, sort of low pressure in the Coral Sea, a few thunderstorms or showers through Queensland, the Northern Territory and the Kimberley. But over here, probably the main feature is the southerly change coming through. This is a high pressure zone just south of Western Australia. That's pushing in a southerly. So it could be a few showers around Adelaide on Sunday and some other parts of South Australia. It won't be a huge amount, but you'll notice the temperature's down and the red line here going all the way up to about, Alice Springs, whereas in the earlier days it was right down to the southern sort of coastal areas. So it's moving back northwards to some degree, but it's still messy, the red line. It basically means that we're into a bit of turbulence still, as we get at this time of the year. It stays like this right through January, February. You get these moments where the red line comes down. It's usually when they're playing the tennis in Melbourne, you get those 40-degree days all of a sudden. So Christmas Day, this is not locked in, but this is the current thinking. The red line, the tropical stuff, is around a big portion of Australia and also coming down into parts of South Australia. But large portion is temperate, where it should be for this time of the year. So with this low out at sea, it could be a bit cloudy from Brisbane all the way down to Sydney, southwards, maybe even coming down into Victoria, where there might just be a couple of showers. Otherwise, Christmas Day looks very dry. A bit of a breeze over here in Western Australia, a refreshing one, won't be overly hot. So a cooler sort of southerly flow coming through in that bottom half, and just a few severe thunderstorms might bubble up around Darwin and Catherine. Otherwise, for now, Christmas Day looks good. I have to say for now, because it's not 100% locked in. We will be doing more updates before we finish for the year. I'll bring you that schedule just before we finish. But just lastly here with the Vendée Globe still tracking by now, moving past Tasmania and moving south of New Zealand. The New Zealander in there, he's number 27th at the moment, moved 1 point ahead. But yeah, good to see all these yachts carrying on despite these big storms down here. There are more coming through too, so helping to push them along very quickly past Australia and New Zealand as they head around the globe. Finally, before I go, here is our schedule for our videos. This week, today's video, we're back again on Thursday to update you. Next week, we're back again before Christmas on Monday, and then we'll do another update as well for you at the end of next week, and then one last one on just before New Year's Eve on the Monday. So we've got 4 more videos to do for Australia before we're done for this year. That is all from me. Have yourselves a great week ahead. Look forward to seeing you again on Thursday.